We're going to go to another example of how she just tries to manipulate people. Like, it's embarrassing.
Officers were injured. Some of them were killed. And he has said since then that there will be a bloodbath after this election. He has, on your point about the military, referred to members.
We got one. Melvin, come on down. Come on down. This is why I'm so glad that the people that tap in consistently, that I'm so transparent with y'all in things that I'm wrong on and things that I'm right on. So look at what Melvin just wrote. And Mom, I know you're sitting here like a proud mother right now. If any of y'all saw the last show, I stopped in the middle of the show after I announced that I actually would prefer to have a man be president. What did I say about an hour later into the show? I stopped the show. We were talking about something totally different. I said, you know what? That's wrong of me to say, and that's wrong of me to believe. And I just had an epiphany. I want the best candidate, and whoever that is, that's who I'm rocking with. So Melvin sits here and says, just say you don't want to vote for a woman because the amount of reaching you are doing is criminal. This is who the Democratic Party represents. Melvin. It's always a Melvin. Melvin is going to tell me that all of these, hold on, anybody looking at this show, you can't, like, the points that have been made on this show, they're valid points, right? Like, it's not like I'm showing you the receipts. She said that she didn't remember her video. I showed y'all the video. All these different things. I don't know. I'm bringing the receipts for y'all. I take a lot of time, Melvin, to find these receipts. And I don't appreciate the fact that you're not appreciating that. Just say you don't want to vote for a woman because the amount of reaching you're doing is criminal. Now, Melvin's calling me a clown. Melvin, what am I off on? What am I seeing wrong? You don't have to call me a clown. If I'm seeing something wrong, just let me know. Just tell me exactly what I'm off on, and I'll adjust my thinking. I am very strong on the opinions that I have, but I'm also very open to the fact that I may be wrong. I'm open to the fact that I may be wrong. So present to me what exactly I'm off on, Melvin. Oh, Melvin got the little thumbnail pic and everything. Let me see if we can see Melvin. Hold on, let me look at the screen. All right, I see you, Melvin. We're making eye contact. What am I wrong about? What am I wrong on? Why am I a clown? Okay. Well, Melvin just stopping through. Okay. All right. These are the people. But this just goes to show you, like, I couldn't ask for a better comment because it just shows us exactly where we are. You can say straight facts. You can present different arguments. You can present different things, and it doesn't even matter. People will come back to you and just say, nah, that ain't it. You're a clown. You just don't want to vote for a woman. Bro, I just presented all these different things, and your feedback is that I just don't want to vote for a woman. Melvin is just doing exactly what Barack did. Think about it. So, Melvin, you're not totally off as far as who you align with. You clearly align with the Democrats. Exactly what Melvin did is exactly what Barack Obama did, and he got roasted and ripped by both Democrats and Republicans. But Melvin's going to tell me, because I don't agree with certain things and I'm pointing out certain things, that I just don't want to vote for a woman. Melvin is the type of person that's going to tell a woman anything that she wants to hear. She's going to, he just doesn't want to support you because you're a woman. Yeah, I support women. I stand by women. I believe all women. That's the type of person that Melvin's on. Because he doesn't want to take a stand and just say, no, how do you feel? Let's move on, Melvin. Appreciate you. See, Melvin, let me be honest. I made up Melvin. Like y'all called me out it last time. I made up Melvin as a profile, and I wrote that myself just so we can create that exchange. So Melvin's not even a real person. My bad. All right, so let's move on let's get back to the video. All right, Melvin.
He has, on your point about the military, referred to members of our military as suckers and losers.
Let's go before that.
And he has said since then that there will be a bloodbath after this election.
Now, I'm going to assume that the people that are viewing this show especially if you're still listening, you've been listening to for a while, that we are educated. And not educated. Educated is not the word. Informed. Well informed to the point where you may already know the direction that I'm going in. She just made it seem as if, think about what they do. They talk about like the January 6th situation. I think it was January 6th, right? Where Donald Trump didn't turn over the presidency. Terrible thing. Terrible mistake on Donald Trump's part. Terrible thing. It is what it is. She's sitting here saying that Donald Trump said that if he doesn't come the election time, it's going to be a bloodbath. Now, what do you think when you hear that? You're thinking civil war, right? Now, let me be very clear. There's been some Republicans on that side that allow this type of rhetoric to become very believable. I actually pointed out on the show where there was a Republican senator, I believe, and he was pointing to the Hell's Angels, I think, or some biker group. And he was like, yeah, we're going to need a civil war if Donald Trump doesn't win. But good thing we got the Hell's Angels. Like, why would you say that goofy stuff? It's goofy. It's not productive. Doesn't do anything. Like, why? Like, it's divisive. Stop. Kamala Harris, she's sitting here implying that Donald Trump is saying that it's going to be a bloodbath. For the people that don't do their own due diligence and look into it, as far as his remarks on it's going to be a bloodbath, we're going to make the same mistake that we made when we were told that Donald Trump at Charlottesville said that there were fine people on both sides, and he was referring to the white supremacy groups and neo-Nazi groups, whatever they are called. And then 3 years, 4 years later, or actually, it was longer than that for me, I finally heard the next two sentences that he said after that, or the end of that sentence, which he clearly said, and I'm not talking about the white supremacy groups and Nazis. They need to be condemned, period. He was referring to the people that had arguments on why the statues, because a lot of people forget that that's what they were protesting in Charlottesville. They were tearing down some statues. And he said that there were arguments from good people on both sides of the argument as far as whether or not to take down the statues or to keep them up. But it was presented to us saying that it was very fine people. And then what did they show? The people marching with the tiki torches saying you will not replace us. This is exactly what she's doing right now. But I want y'all to take a look at this video. Hopefully I have it queued up. This is what actually was said and what was the context. And I know Charlamagne gave her the excuse of, oh, well, it was taken out of context. But of course, he didn't look into the context of this situation when he's talking about a bloodbath. He's talking about the automobile industry. Take a listen.
Former President Donald Trump at a campaign stop in Ohio saying it will be a, quote, bloodbath if he loses, in reference to the auto industry as he's making comments about China as well. Let's listen into this comment live, raw, and unfiltered from what he said yesterday.
We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine, all he does is build car manufacturing plants. He's the biggest in the world. I mean, honestly, I joke about it. He can't walk across the street, and that way he's like Biden. But for building...
All right, you're just listening in there to what he said unfiltered there, as a lot of headlines just saying the bloodbath if he loses the election. Of course, he was talking about the auto industry there and the competition with China. And of course, both sides of the aisles continue to react.
So she's making it seem as if there's going to be a civil war. Meanwhile, he's standing up for America in regards to China and them taking away our opportunities. Think about that. But she's presenting it to us as if there's going to be a civil war. He said there's going to be a bloodbath. It's just disingenuous on all ends. Disingenuous on all ends. That was the last clip that we had to play. But of course, we're going to finish it out with some more positive. Let me get rid of this. And please, y'all go back and watch the whole interview with Charlamagne or don't. I'm sure there's other things that you could do with your time or don't. It's one of those things where, I'll be totally honest. Like I actually like politics. I like having these conversations. But be clear, in 3 weeks, no matter who wins, I'm not going to be super sad and depressed. And I'm also not going to be super ecstatic. I'm definitely not rooting for Kamala. I'm still getting to the point where I have to, say like I'm rocking with Trump, but I'm telling y'all, and I give myself 3 weeks because things can change. But if I was voting right now, if I was sending in an early ballot, Trump is in bold letters. I'm just being honest. If I was sending it early, but you got to give me until the election. I'm still receiving information. But either way, like, and my point is, don't get bent out of shape about these politics. Don't get bent out of shape, because when we put so much into these politicians and politics, we're the ones that lose and they win. We got to figure out a way to win regardless. You want to know why? Because that's what Big Pharma does. That's what BlackRock does. That's what all the super successful people do. They don't care who's in office. Look, man, we don't care who's in office. They're going to do what we tell them to do. What we tell them to do regardless. That's the energy that we got to get on. We can never get to a point where we're saying anybody but this person or anybody but that person. Or put it this way. I don't think that either of the candidates, I don't even think Kamala's that bad to where you should say, and I think Kamala's pretty bad, I'm be honest, but I don't think that she's bad to where you should even say anybody but Kamala and you're not paying attention or listening to the things that she's presenting. Listen to what both people are presenting. Formulate an opinion and do what's best for you, your people, your community, your tribe, your village, however you see fit. And move on. And if you disagree with certain people in your family, it's cool. We're pretty much, think about this. The Democrats and Republicans, Trump and Kamala, are fighting to see who has the best strategy in making the country better. At least that's what they're supposed to be doing. So either way, is there really a point in having like arguments with your family? And you could argue and go back and forth with your family, but to the extent where it gets like so toxic that now you're dreading going to family day dinner, also known as Thanksgiving, but family day dinner, that's when my mom will not allow me to call it anything else. It should never be that serious. All right. If you're a real winner and if you're a real go-getter, then you're going to win regardless of who's in office. You're going to figure out the rules you got to play by and figure out how to finesse, how to execute in the best way for you and yours. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.